Hello, yogis. Today, we're going to focus on the gluteus medius muscles, the muscles of the outer hips, which can get a little weakened if we're sitting on them all day. We can get something that I'd like to call desk butt. So today we're going to work on desk butt. And the big idea I'd like you to think about is that when a muscle in the body starts to feel tight, physical therapists, from my own experience as a client of physical therapy, will encourage you not just to strengthen or to stretch that muscle so that it gets looser, but to find out where in the body you're experiencing weakness. Like if something's tight somewhere, it's because there's weakness somewhere else. And so the idea is to find the weak spot and strengthen it. So we're going to explore becoming more flexible, becoming more open, not just by stretching, but by developing strength. So with that in mind, hands together, maybe give them a little bit of a rub to feel some warmth, feel the energy of your palms, and then find stillness. And I invite you to think about something that you do that makes you feel strong. It could be music that pumps you up, or people who remind you that you're a badass, or just an activity that connects you to your power. As you breathe in, conjure that up. And just take a long breath out. Feel your spine get longer. Join me for either 3 ohms or 3 long breaths in, longer breaths out. Your choice. Let's inhale. Your eyes open back up, and we are going to start on our backs. So get on down to your back, and would you please press down with your feet. Your feet will be underneath your knees bent, and then just a little bit of a lift of your pelvis, and then bring it back down to the floor. Do that again for 100 times. No, do that again. Just keep these like little lifts. And what I'd like you to feel, you can go fast or not super fast, but you can go nice and slow or have a quicker pace. I'd like you to explore maybe not resting your butt all the way down on the floor and just like kind of tapping it to the floor. And I really want you to feel the outer hips start engaging. So let this action happen from the very tops of your hamstrings, right where your hamstrings and your butt meet, and then the outer hips, the gluteus medius muscles. And it doesn't have to be the biggest back bend in the world. Again, we're not going uber flexible. We're going more for building strength. All right. Bring your seat down. I'm going to see how many different words I can use for butt in this class, so keep track. And bring your right foot just a little bit forward, so that it's like your heel is pressing into the floor. Your toes are up, like maybe you're hovered over the brake on a car. And left heel is underneath the knee. You could robot your arms if you want. You could keep the arms down. Press into the left heel and lift your pelvis again. So we're going to do those same actions that we were doing before, but we're doing it with an emphasis on the left side. And this is because also learned through my adventures in physical therapy. The body just has this miraculous asymmetry to it. There's always some parts of us that are weaker, some parts of us that are more flexible. And so when we do these movements on one side only, we can isolate the muscles. Like perhaps my left side is a little weaker than my right. So now I'm really making my left glute med do some work here without the help of the right. So you're continuing to press the left heel into the floor. You may be feeling it in the outer left hip. Bring your hip down and switch the feet. We're going to move straight into pressing the right foot down. Left foot is hovered over the brake, and you lift your hips. Yeah, and try to have this be less about momentum and more about this kind of slow burn of the right outer hip working. And maybe you notice that one side was easier than the other. So that's just some interesting information. All right. Whew. When you've done that 108 times, bring both knees toward your heart and lift your chin up toward your knees. Give your shins a squeeze and then just roll up to a sit. We're going to cross over our shins and come into hands and knees for a few cat and cows. Simple. Feel as you breathe into cow, your tailbone lifting, collarbones widen, and then for cat, I want you to feel the shoulders come apart from each other. Breathing in and breathing out for cat spine. Now, find a neutral spine, please, and reach your right leg back so that the right ball of the foot is on the floor. Stay with me. Engage your right glute muscle and lift your right toes just a little bit off the floor, but resist that lifting with the right glute. So right glute, right hamstring are kind of pressuring against the lifting of the heel, but do lift the heel. Okay, now you're going to bring your right knee out to the side, sort of like a dog at a fire hydrant situation, and look down at your knee. See that your shin is parallel to the floor, all right? Then bring the right knee into the chest. Feel the shoulder blades widen as they did before in cat spine, and then slowly reach the right leg back. Resist with the hamstring. Fire up the hamstrings as you do this. Bring the right ball of the foot to the floor, and then we're going to do that again. So start by engaging the right hamstring and the right upper glute or lower glute. Lift the right leg, but resist with the butt. And then start to bend the right knee out to the right. Look at your knee. Shin is parallel. You're feeling it probably in the right outer hip. That is your gluteus medius muscles, my friends. Bring the right knee toward the chest and then reach it back out. Not focusing on momentum, so you're not swinging here. I know you could do that, but I want you to have this be like slow and focused. All right, right ball of the foot down. Let's do this one more time. Lift the right leg, engage the glute and the hamstring and resist. Bring the knee out to the side. Look at your little knee. Say hello. Knee into the heart. Press the hands down, widen the shoulder blades. The abdominal walls will help here too. And then hamstring engages as you reach the right foot out and down to the floor. If this was like a little much on the wrists, you can come onto shins and do I like to give my wrist like a little hug, make a bracelet with my fingers. And then we're going to come right back. There's no rest for the weary. Bring your left foot back. Press the left ball of the foot down. And then resist with the left butt, the left glute, and the left hamstring. Bring the left knee out to the side. Look at it. Bring the knee up toward the body. And feel the abdominal walls help you out here. They're your friends. Resist with the hamstring of the left leg as the left foot reaches back. And then ball of the foot to the floor. Keep it going. Engage the glute. Feel the outer glute resist as you lift the left leg, knee out to the side, and then bring the knee in toward your body. Reach the leg back out, resisting, and also resisting the urge to swing, to use momentum, and then back to the floor. One more time. Resist with the hamstring, resist with the butt, bend the knee, take a look at your parallel shin, hold it for a moment, bring it into your body, and then reach the leg back out. Okay, here we go. Left foot back down. Let's come into plank pose. Remember plank pose? Press down with the balls of the feet, press down with the fingerprints, and then it's knees to the floor, chest to the floor, chin to the floor. Breathe forward for a cobra. Widen the collarbones, elbows straight back. And then it's downward facing dog. Bring your shins to the floor in down dog. Come into a child's pose, and that might feel nice after a little bit of that hip rotation to come into this original fold that we all had, this fetal shape. I'm spidering my fingers, so fingerprints are down, palms are lifted. And then just walk your hands back. This is a little transition onto the booty for a Dandasana. Legs out in front of you, hands by the sides, and bring your hands behind your hips. Bend your right knee and bring the ankle of the right leg to the left quad. Start to bring the left heel toward the body. And I don't want this to be the most dramatic figure four that you've ever experienced because it's early in class and we're also doing strengthening rather than just blowing open the hips. So just be gentle. There'll be plenty of times for other things. Flex the right foot though. And then start to let the right foot fall to the left until you're in a very early seated spinal twist. And so I'm not really focusing on the spine so much as the right IT band. So instead of going like this and kind of jerking my spine around, I'm going to just give my leg a hug and try to let this be about the right sit bone rooting down so that I can get some opening in the IT band. And then you're going to start coming over onto your left forearm. You're on the left side. Your knees will be bent. You can bring your hand out in front of you, but I actually think it would be interesting if you bring your index finger to your right hip, and you'll notice that your thumb will land on what is basically your gluteus medius. And the reason you'll know that is because now you're going to lift your right leg up. The knee is still bent. Extend your right leg long and have the heel pointing up more than the toes. And you probably will be feeling your gluteus medius underneath your thumb. Rebend the right knee and bring it back down. Let's do this again. Lift the right leg with the knee bent. Extend the right leg long. Heel is pointed more up. Do you know what we're doing right now? Rebend the right knee. We're doing Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose, on the floor. So remember this feeling. Remember this feeling of the strength of your right glute med as you do that third extension and bend. Okay, come up to sit. Cross the right shin over the left, and we're doing a shin cross, not an ankle cross. And what that does is it keeps the outer hips awake, alive a little bit more, as you have noticed the theme of this class. So your knees are kind of pointing up. Left arm will come under the right for an eagle wrap, and instead of clasping, we're not like forcing flexibility through stretching right now. I'd like you to press the tops of the hands into each other and see if that can wake up the muscles of the outer shoulders. And then unravel that. You're going to walk your hands to the right, to the right, to the right, to the right. And notice that the left fingers will reach more forward, or try to inch them forward. And if you're up for it, flip the palm of the left hand. And I'd like you to try to root the left sit bone down to the floor. And what this is doing is stretching the muscles in the back, the lats, that goes straight from your pelvis all the way to the upper arm bones. And now let your head drop. And if this is accessible, maybe the left thumbnail even is touching the floor here. Walk yourself back up. bring both feet underneath the knees, and we'll come into an altar pose, pressing the heels down, lifting the hips, letting the head come back. It's just a sort of gentle extension after all that flexion of the hip joint. Okay. Dandasana again. Extend the legs long. Hands behind you on little fingerprints. And then you will keep your right leg long. You'll bend the left knee, left ankle to the right quad. Start to bring your right heel toward your body. And I'm adjusting my hands back so that it's just like an early, early figure 4 experience. And just be there. And let the left foot fall over to the left. A gentle IT band stretch. So left tush pushes into the floor. Feel the stretch on the outer leg. And I'm going to do this so I don't mess up my sound situation. I'm going to do this on the same side, but you should be over on your right side now with your right forearm pressing into the floor and your left index finger on your left hip. Lift up the left knee and then extend the leg long. Heel is pointing more toward the ceiling. Rebend the knee and bring it back down. I personally just love, we're going to do this 2 more times. You can join me while I reflect on the how wonderful it is to palpate my own body, to feel the muscle engage as I'm doing stuff. I'm like, wow, I did that. That was me. All right. I may have talked through now 4 extensions, but your left gluteus medius will thank you someday. All right, come up onto a cross shin experience situation and bring this time your right arm underneath your left, eagle wrap, but with the outer hands pressing into each other. And feel the outer shoulder muscles wake up. Unravel, walk to the left. Whew. And right fingers will come a little bit more forward. Flip the right palm if that works for you. Drop the head. The feet are still flexed and active. The shins are still crossed. So we're still working our outer hips. Right thumbnail may be pointing toward the floor at this point. All right, I would like to stay here for a long time, but walk yourself back up. And find your way into this altar shape. Feel the very tops of your hamstrings lifting you here. Head comes back. Breathe in. And then make a sound. Let something out. Sit bones down. Cross over the shins. And the last little special thing we're going to do is in your down dog, walk your hands to the back of the mat. And you're going to slowly come up to Tadasana. Bring your hands to a prayer in front of your chest and press the palms into each other. Bend your knees for what I will call a very soft chair pose. So this is not the most dramatic chair pose that you'll ever do. Shift the weight into your right foot and extend your left leg long for a one-legged, very strange chair pose. Right hip is going to want to come out, bring it back into the body. Right knee tracks forward. Left foot to the floor. Shift the weight into your left heel. Extend your right leg. It's not super high. The knees are more or less in line. Left hip is coming into the body, right? Okay. Right foot back down. Breathe in and lift your arms up. Exhale, bring your prayer through the center of you, and then walk yourself up to a downward facing dog from here. All right, I'm going to ask you to do something very unsatisfying. Usually when we breathe in, we lift our right legs. This time, do not do that. Please breathe in and squeeze your right glute, but don't lift the leg. And then on a breath out, bring your right foot outside of your right hand for a wide lunge. So we're not using momentum, we're using strength. I know. All right, reach the right arm up to the sky. Peel the chest open for a wide lunge twist. Bring your right hand back down. Downward facing dog. Right foot to the back of the mat. Breathe forward to plank pose. Feel long in the spine. And then lower all the way down if you like. Inhale for a cobra. Exhale, down dog. Walk your hands to the back of the mat. Come up into, actually we're going to come up into chair pose with the arms reaching out in front of you, but it's a soft and gentle chair. Hands now to a prayer. Shift the weight into your right foot. Extend the left leg long, but what's happening with your right outer hip? Is it coming into the body? Okay. Rebend the left knee, left foot to the floor. Extend the right leg. Bring the right foot back. And if this isn't great for your knees, regular chair pose is fine. Breathe in, arms lift up. Breathe out, hands to the floor. Walk yourself to the top of the mat, down dog. On an inhale, do not lift your left leg, but squeeze your left glute. And then exhale, left foot to the outside of the left hand, and congratulate yourself for all that strength. Open up the left arm, left hand back down to the floor, left foot to the back of the mat, down dog, and ripple forward into plank pose, shoulders over the fingers. Lower all the way down in one piece. Feel the abdominal walls support you. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. You walk your hands back, and notice if you keep using the same hand to start your walk back. Maybe you shift it up. Come into this soft chair pose, arms lengthening, and then hands to a prayer. Left leg reaches forward. Bring the left foot back down. Pull the left hip into your body as your right leg reaches forward. It gets hard. Reach the arms up to the sky. Breathe in. Breathe out, hands down. Walk maybe with a different hand forward to the top of the mat. And do not lift your right leg. Breathe in and engage the right glute. Breathe out, right foot to the outer right hand. Okay, here's an option. You could take a momentary right forearm to the floor here before you lift the arm up to the sky. You could skip it. And I would still love you very much. I'd love you just the same. Right hand down, right foot to the back of the mat. Breathe into plank pose. Maybe you lower down into chaturanga. Maybe you stick with knees, chest, chin. Maybe you take a couple breaths in plank pose. We're all going to meet in the back of the mat, downward facing dog. Hands walk you back. Come up into that easy, gentle chair pose. Hands to a prayer. Press into the right foot. Right hip pulls into the body as the left leg lengthens. Left foot back down. Right foot reaches out long. Right foot back down. Breathe in. Prayer above you. Breathe out. Hands to the floor. Walk, walk, walk yourself into the downward facing dog. Breathe in and engage the left glute. Breathe out, left foot to the outside of the left hand. Maybe the left forearm comes to the floor for a holy moment. Inhale, left arm lifts. Exhale, left hand to the floor, downward facing dog. Breathe in to plank pose. Breathe out, perhaps chaturanga, perhaps something else. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, down dog. Walk your hands to the back of the mat. Come into that special little chair pose. First up and then prayer. Left leg reaches forward. You got it now. It's in muscle memory. Right leg reaches forward. Inhale, prayer up above you. Exhale, hands back down. You're going to walk yourself to the top of the mat, and we're moving along. We're going to move into the open flow of our class. So I will allow you to breathe in and lift your right leg up to the sky. Oh, doesn't it feel glorious? Breathe out. Right foot will come forward, but please listen up. Pivot the left heel down and start to engage your left glute. Bring your right outer hip into the body. So you're pulling the right outer hip in, you're squeezing the left tush, and then you're coming up into warrior one. So squeeze all the way up. Squeeze, 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 left butt is squeezing, left butt is squeezing, and there we are. And notice here how that helps the left front body, the front of the left thigh and the hip, get a little bit of openness, or a lot more openness. And you're coming up through strength, not just flexibility. Okay, enough talk about warrior one. Warrior two, back of the mat. Going right to the back of the mat. And feel the inner left thigh reach back, the inner right thigh reach toward the front of your mat here. Tip it up and back for peaceful warrior. And sometimes the left hip will want to reach out to the left, pull it back into the body. Left knee tracks straight in front of you. come to face the side wall, and we're doing this eagle wrap situation. Left arm under the right, and press the tops of the hands into each other. Warrior 2, front of the house. And can there be a line of energy? Right thigh reaching forward. Same energy is reaching the opposite direction. Left inner thigh is reaching right back behind you. All right, straighten the right leg. It's reverse triangle. So press into the ball of the right foot as the right fingers ascend. And in fact, feel the outer hips gather in. Notice the theme here. Outer hips gather in. Lift up through your pelvic floor. So the space between your tailbone and your pubic bone. Lift up as you ascend. All right, hands cartwheel down. And then it's your journey. Down dog to plank to chaturanga, or down dog to breathing. We're all meeting in down dog. And breathe in as you lift the left leg. Feel the strength of your left hamstring. Bring the left foot forward behind the left hand. And then you're pivoting the right heel down. You're not coming up yet. Bring the left hip into the body. Engage the hip. Use the right glute to lift up. So glute, right glute, right glute, right glute, right glute. Arms reach up. All right, nice. Warrior 2, back of the house. And feel how the right outer hip comes in. The right inner thigh reaches forward. Tip it up and back. Peaceful warrior. Face the side wall. This time, it's right arm under the left. Press the tops of the hands together. Warrior 2, front of the house. What's happening with the inseams of your thighs? Can you energetically move the left thigh forward, the right inner thigh back? Ascend into a reverse triangle. So press down with the ball of the left foot. Reach up the left fingertips, and outer hips gather in as you lift through the pelvic floor. Hands come down. Move through your flow. All right. Excellent work. This might be a good time for a deep breath in and a big sigh out. On your next inhale, the right leg will rise. Feel how the hamstring helps you there. Bring the right foot forward. Left heel pivots down. Squeeze the left hiney as you reach the arms up. And then we'll turn this into Warrior 2, back of the mat. Moving a little more with our breath here. Peaceful warrior. And find the side of your mat. Left arm under, right arm over. Press the tops of the hands together. Wake up the outer shoulders. Virabhadrasana 2, front of the mat. That turns into reverse triangle. The outer hips engage. The pelvic floor ascends. And then triangle pose. But please bring your left hand to your left hip. So index finger on the hip bone. Thumb is kind of wrapping around to find the gluteus medius. And you're pressing down with the feet. Pull them, both press down with the feet and then pull them together so you're lifting through your inner thighs. But here's what I'd like you to think about. You try reaching your left hip straight up to the sky, and notice that makes a little bit of crunching or contraction in the left gluteus medius. Now see what happens when you soften the frontal hip point toward your navel. It's very subtle, but there's a little bit more space that opens up. You're internally rotating your left thigh bone a little bit here too. All right, then lift the left arm up. Reach the left arm long by your ear. Bring your hands down to the mat. Stay with me, please. Reach the right leg up to the sky in a down dog split. Open the hip by stacking the right hip on top of the left, but do this through squeezing the outer hips toward each other. So especially the standing leg, the left outer hip is lifting up toward the midline of the body. The right outer hip is squeezing toward the center of you. Now find the very center of your hamstring and use that to bend your knee. So we can do this with just like swinging around, or we can do it through this concentrated focus, this isolation of the muscles. Right heel is coming toward the right booty. And then let's reverse all of that. Extend the right leg long, parallel your hips. We're still here. Bring the right foot forward. We're turning this into a high lunge, but bend the back knee and really engage your left hamstring so that you can feel the strength of the hamstring. Feel the strength of the left glute and how that opens up the front of your body. Straighten both legs. Lift up through the pelvic floor. Outer hips pull together. Rebend both knees. And then stay with me, my friends. Bring your hands to prayer. Come into that one-legged chair pose with the left foot in front of you. Whew. That came back. Left foot down to the floor. And it will be figure 4 chair with your right ankle on top of the left quad. And I want us to be thinking about 2 things. First, left hip comes in toward the midline. So engage the left outer hip. Second, the right foot is pressing into some imaginary, let's pretend it's my hand that's come up to you and is pressing into your right foot. Or a wall, your choice. And I said figure 4 chair would come back. So maybe this one is a little bit deeper. If it is nice to have blocks, you can use them under your fingers. We are now going to slide the right shin down the right calf down there. We're coming into a cross-ankled forward fold is what we're doing. And this is where blocks can be just glorious. Let your head drop, please. We're going to come into an interesting transition, but I know we can do it. Bring your right foot like behind your right hand a little bit. Reach the left foot back. Plant the left heel and come into to side angle from here. So we've been opening up the hip a fair amount, and I'd like you to think, should the right outer hip be reaching out behind you, or could you pull it into the body? At the same time that the left inner thigh is reaching backwards. So we're always sending energy in 2 directions. Left, or at least, left arm reaches alongside your left ear. Hands to the floor. And then let's go through your own flow here, which could be a couple breaths in child's pose, or a chaturanga, or anything in between. All right, that was a whole lot. I believe in us, though. Breathe in and lift the left leg. Feel the strength of your left hamstring. Left foot forward, right heel pivots down. Engage the right glute as you come up into Virabhadrasana 1. Come into Warrior 2, back of the mat. Up and back for Peaceful Warrior. Face the side wall. This time, right arm under, left arm over. Tops of the hands pressed together. Virabhadrasana 2, front of the house. Reverse triangle, outer hips pull together. Trikonasana. So right hand comes to your hip, index finger, left hand will come wherever it wants, the shin, a block. Index finger on the hip bone, right thumb is feeling your gluteus medius. And then see what happens. Point the right hip straight up to the sky. And then see if you soften the right hip bone toward the navel, if you can feel a little bit more broadness, more openness. Right arm reaches up now. Feel a sense of space in the right ribs as you reach the fingers forward. Hands will frame the left foot. Lift the left leg up to the sky for a down dog split. Open the hip, and then its outer right hip pulling up into the body, outer left hip squeezing toward the center of you. Use the center of your left hamstring to bring your left heel toward your left rump. And then re-extend the left leg. Hips point toward the ground. Bring the left foot forward between the hands. Slight bend to the back knee as you come up into a high lunge. Feel the strength of your right hamstring, like whoa. And how the strength of your right hamstring helps to open up the front of the right thigh. Straighten both legs, outer hips pull in, ascend through the pelvic floor, rebend both knees, hands to prayer. And it's actually that pelvic floor ascension that helps you get into this one-legged chair pose. Whew. Right foot to the floor, lengthen both legs. Figure 4, so it's left ankle to the right quad, above the knee. And right hip is coming into the body. Left foot is pressing into something. And if you like, you can hinge forward here. Maybe hands will find blocks. You could stay a little bit more lifted if that's better for your body. We're still warming up. And I'd like to stay here forever, but you bring your left calf to slide down your right shin, crossed ankled, forward fold. And let the back of the skull open up, the jaw relax. Bring the left foot behind the left hand, reach the right leg back and pivot the heel down. We're coming into extended side. And perhaps because we're so low here, you could have your left hand on the floor behind your left foot or in front. You could also rest your left forearm on your left thigh if you like. Left hip comes, your left outer hip is almost, it's coming toward the pubic bone, toward the very center of you. Bring your right arm forward. Right inner thigh is spiraling back behind you. Whew. All right. Hands to the floor. Move through your flow. And feel how the front body is opening up in this up dog. Perhaps because of all that gluteus strength we're building. All right. Things are continuing to develop. Breathe in and reach your right leg up. Breathe out, right foot forward. And it is really muscle memory now. So you know this. Warrior 1. Warrior 2, back of the mat. I'm just like the DJ calling it out. Peaceful warrior. Find the side wall. Left arm under, right arm over. Press the tops of the hands together. Virabhadrasana 2, front of the house. Ascend into reverse triangle and then triangle pose. And here, maybe even without, all the bells and whistles, your left outer hip can soften, or your left frontal hip point can soften toward your navel. Let the right ribs curl up into the left. Left arm long. Hands frame the right foot. Reach the right leg up, down dog split. Open the hip. Especially the standing hip lifts up into the center of you. Use the belly of your hamstring to bring the right heel toward the hip or the sit bones. And then reverse all that. Lengthen the right leg behind you. Bring the right foot forward. It's high lunge with your left knee bent. Straighten both legs. Feel this ascension through the pelvic floor as your outer hips pull in. Rebend both knees. Hands to prayer, and then lift through the pelvic floor to get into this one-legged chair. Left foot to the floor. Changing things up. Lift your right knee. We're coming into Ardha Chandrasana, so bring your right knee out like this doggy fire hydrant situation we did before. Oh my goodness, remember that? And then reach the right heel behind you. It's the right heel lifting and the right toes a little bit descending that brings you into this shape. And I know it's a lot. The left arm may reach toward the floor. You could decide to keep the fingers lifting off the floor in this little floaty Ardha Chandra situation. And then we're going to come out the way we came in. Rebend the right knee. Bring the right knee forward. We're not done. One-legged chair pose with the right foot forward. Bring the right foot down to the floor. And then widen your feet. Not too wide, but we're going to come into a squat. So slowly descend. And you could put a block or two underneath your sit bones here. My offering, first is just to breathe. And second is to press the triceps or the elbows into your inner thighs. And then to take them away and use your outer hips, your gluteus medius, to keep that opening. And then thank your gluteus medii for all this work that they're doing. Hands to the floor. And we're just going to come into like a straddle forward fold here. So lengthen the legs, drop the head. My goodness. So if you like, you could jump back into a down dog if you want to get a little like movement, because I've been making you stay so still. You could just find your way back through and move through your flow. And as you're ready, lift the left leg. Exhale as the left foot comes forward. Virabhadrasana 1, engaging the right glute on your way up. Warrior 2 to the back of your space. Up and back for peaceful warrior, breathing in. Find the side wall. Right arm under, left arm over for eagle wrap. Press the tops of the hands together. Then open this all back up. Warrior 2, front of the mat. Reverse triangle, pressing down with the ball of the left foot, lifting up. Triangle pose. And so right frontal hip point comes toward the pubic bone, and the left ribs ascend toward the right. Right arm long, hands frame the left foot, lift the left leg up, down dog, split, open the hip, lift the right outer hip into the body, bend the left knee using the hamstring, and then re-situate all of that. Bring the left foot forward into a low lunge, which is going to turn into a high lunge as you bend the back knee and lift the arms. Now lift the whole body, lift the pelvic floor, bend or extend both legs, rebend both knees, hands to a prayer. Use all of this inner strength to bring the right leg forward into this one-legged chair. Right foot to the floor. Whew. Okay. Reach the left knee up. Bring it out to the side, doggy fire hydrant, and then from there, lengthen the left leg long. Left heel is pointing up a little bit more, and healthy bend to the standing leg. Yeah, and so this is the action of the gluteus medius that's kind of keeping this all together. Rebend the left knee, and then bring it toward your body. Just like we did. This is in your muscles. And then maybe extend the left leg long for this one-legged chair. Left foot to the floor. Whew. Widen the feet a little bit. Heels are going to point toward each other, toes apart, so we can come down into the squat. Oh my goodness. Elbows press into the inner thighs. And then remove the elbows and feel how your outer hips, your gluteus medii, keep this shape open through strength. Hands to the floor. Extend the legs long. It might feel like lovely to just get into your hamstrings here. Hands to the floor. Take a hop back into downward facing dog, and here we are. Okay, there's a bonus round. There's a bonus round. It is as if we, it's the 90s and we have a CD with like that special song at the end. All right, breathe in and reach the right leg up. Bring the right foot forward. We're coming straight into high lunge. So here we are. Outer hips pull in. Straighten the legs, both of them. Rebend the knee. Bring your hands to a prayer, and then it's that pelvic floor ascension that will bring you into warrior 3. And this is everything we've been working on. So right outer hip pulling into the body, left booty is resisting the lift of the left leg. So your left glute and left hamstring are sort of, they're resisting it, but the left leg is still lifting. And then can energy spiral from the inner left thigh back and from the crown of your head forward. Okay, bring the left foot forward into this one-legged chair pose. Can you believe we're still doing that? Left foot back down. Whew. And we're going to revive figure 4 chair. Right ankle to the left thigh. Coming back into what we'll call this like a standing pigeon. So just drop the head and hands will be on blocks. The left knee stays bent. But this may be a deeper experience of the figure 4 feeling in the right hip. So maybe your chest comes a little bit more toward your right shin. Hands could come to the floor if you're into that. And you can stay here in standing pigeon for like as long as you want. You can just pause this and just stay in standing pigeon. Slide the right calf down the left shin though, and eventually, once you unpushed pause, and then you're in a cross-ankled forward fold, which is also a place you could stay for a long time. My offering is a cross-ankled crow pose. So you're going to keep the ankles really snugly together. The knees will widen, and you'll find this connection between your triceps and the tops of your shins. Your hips, your chest will reach forward, and then you'll lift the bottom heel up into the hamstrings. And it might, I think the right hamstring is especially helpful in this one because it's the bottom right foot that's doing the lifting right now. And a little bit of that doming of the upper back where the shoulder blades come apart. All right. Feet back down to the floor. Hands walk a little forward. You're going to find your way into downward facing dog one way or the other. And an optional vinyasa or just optional breathing. I mean, mandatory breathing. Lift the left leg up as you're ready. Bring the left foot forward and high lunge. Bend to the back knee. Extend both legs. Feel this lift up through the center of you as the outer hips gather inward. Rebend both knees, hands to prayer. Warrior 3. And you can reach the prayer or the hands out behind you once you get there. But think again. Left outer hip in. Right glute is resisting the lift of the right leg. Right hamstring is engaged. And then as you're ready, right foot comes forward, weird chair pose with your right leg forward. Feet to the floor. And then figure 4. Left ankle to the right thigh. Hips reach back. You can stay here. You can bring hands to blocks. You can bring hands to the floor. Let the head drop for this variation of a standing pigeon. Still keep the left foot active. Slide the left calf down the right shin. Crossed ankled forward fold. And then start to, if you want, snuggle the ankles together. Find your figure 4 or your cross-ankled crow pose. And this does a little more, it requires a little more of the inner thighs here. This cross-ankled experience, just a little different. Feel the doming of the upper back. Press the fingerprints down. They help support your wrists. They take some of the weight off of your wrists. And gather your bottom foot up toward your hamstrings. This time it's your left hamstring that will help. All right, feet back down. Arms forward, hands forward, downward facing dog. And here we are. Okay. And now there's just one more thing that we're going to do before we just plop on the floor forever. Reach the right leg up to the sky. Breathe in. Bring the right foot forward. This time it's a crescent lunge, so left shin to the floor, please. You might actually bring blocks closer to you, like to the sides by your hips. Okay, crescent lunge. With me? So feel, actually, it's not going to be a super back-bendy crescent lunge because we're not doing a ton of flexibility. We're doing strength. So what I'd like you to feel is your left booty engaged as you lift your arms up. And start to bring your right hand either to your right thigh. You could bring it to a block. Reach your left arm over to the right. Keep engaging your left glute. And notice how it's that engagement that opens up the space here. More than the reaching forward with the right knee. It's the strength of your left glute and hamstring that are allowing all of this openness to happen. Okay. Reach back up. We're coming into a pyramid pose, so you may want to bring your hands to blocks on either side of your right foot. And guess by now what I'd like you to do with your outer hips in pyramid pose. Draw them together, please. But then could you also, as if there were a beam of light coming from your right inner thigh, reach that forward. So the inseam of the right thigh is reaching forward. The same beam of light is reaching from the left inner thigh backward. And maybe you extend the spine parallel to the earth and let the crown of the head reach forward, the tailbone back, breathe in, and then exhale, get a little deeper into this. We're shifting into a revolved triangle. So the left foot may come out to the left a bit, just so that you can keep sealing the left heel down. You will find a block to be quite handy under the left hand as you peel the right arm up. And it's totally cool to bring your right hand to your sacrum. In fact, I advise it. So that you can take a moment, gather your outer hips together, just like you were doing a second ago in pyramid. Gather the outer hips together. Let the inner thighs reach in two opposite directions. Right inner thigh forward, left inner thigh back. Maybe the right arm lifts if you can keep the right shoulder stacking. Totally fine, since this is really about the hips and the glutes and the thighs, for this not to be the biggest shoulder opening of your life. Could that be okay? All right, hands will actually walk around to the center, to the side of your mat, so you're in a little momentary straddle. Keep walking. We're going to the back of the mat. Walk, walk, walk. And then heel toe your left foot back, or to the left side of the mat, so you're in a wide low lunge. Right palm plants. Lift the left arm up to the sky, and you're in a just a wide lunge like we did at the beginning of class. Yeah. Okay, look down at your left heel. Bring your right knee to the outside of your left heel and plop your sit bones down so that you are in a seated spinal twist. We've done this one before too. Rotate your body to the front of your mat. So you're turning to the left, but really just belly faces the front of your mat. And here we are. Hopefully you're a little warmer than you were. So sit bones root down. Maybe this will be more of a twist for the spine. Take a counter twist to the right and let your head drop. Press your hands into the floor, and we're coming to this cross shin seated position that we've tested out before. So shins are crossed. Reach your arms out to the left, to the left, to the left, to the left. Flip the right palm. Right fingers reach a little bit more forward. Flip the right palm. Right thumbnail reaches toward the earth, and the head drops. Okay. Walk yourself back up. Feet under the knees, hands under the shoulders. Press the hips up. Use the outer glutes and the hamstrings to lift. So less of a back bend, more of the strength and power of your legs. Head back, breathe in, breathe out, and let something go. Bring your sit bones between your hands, and you could cross over the shins if you like. Get to down dog, optional vinyasa. And the left leg will rise as you're ready. Bring the left foot forward, right shin to the floor, crescent lunge, and now would be a good time to grab onto blocks. Bring them by your hips. So right booty engages. Left hand to the left thigh, reach your right arm up, and just feel how that action opens up the psoas, this like awesome muscle that runs from your thigh bone to your through your pelvis. And reach your right arm over to the left. Left hands could find a block. They could find the floor if that's accessible to you. Press the right pinky toe down into the floor, and that might even help you feel more opening in the front of your right thigh. And then reach both arms up for a moment. Pyramid pose. We're building it from the ground. Right heel is pointing down at an angle. outer hips engage. Inner thighs reach into opposite directions. And if you just do those two things, I'll be so happy. If you like, you can lengthen the spine, feel this other kind of energetic shift of the tailbone back, the crown of the head forward, and then breathe out and bring yourself a little deeper into this forward fold. Let the jaw relax. Revolved triangle, Parivrita Trikonasana. So right foot might come out a little bit to the right. A block under the right hand is like heavenly. You're going to wrap your right ribs toward your left ribs. Left hand to the sacrum. And outer hips engage. It's really hard for them to do that in this shape. This is a challenging shape. So if that's what happens, then that's great. If you can get some energetic movement of the outer hips toward each other. Maybe the inner thighs also reach in two opposite directions. Left arm lifts only if that's allowing you to feel openness in the chest. And then you're going to bring yourself into a straddle facing the opposite side of your mat and keep walking back of the mat. Right foot is going to heel toe to the right side of the mat just so we can have a wider stance. Left palm down. Just open this up. We're doing the opposite of everything we did in that revolved triangle. There we go. And then look down at your right heel. Left knee to the outside of it. Funky little transition. And then twist to the front of your mat. And the sit bones will root down. Maybe the fingers of the right hand can encourage your spine to lengthen even as you twist your belly a little deeper into the right inner thigh. Turn to the left and make a big, nice counter shape, dropping the head toward the earth, bending both elbows. And then right shin will cross in front of the left. You'll walk your hands to the right. Left fingers will walk a little bit more forward. Flip the palm and let the head drop. If that's helping to feel some openness in the back. Left sit bone still roots down. And then walk yourself back to we'll try Parvottanasana. So legs will be long. Hands will be underneath the shoulders. You'll point the toes. You'll lift your hips. And again, it's the gluteus medius that are helping out here. More than a big back bend. Your hamstrings are strong. Your toes may touch toward the earth. Feel the outer hips engage. Head might come back. Breathe in. Maybe stick the tongue out and breathe out. Sit bones down. And we're going to come down onto our backs now. So for this first wheel, I'm actually going to invite you to do, if you want to just block under the sacrum, bing, bang, boom, great. I have one more strength building exercise if you're game for it. So lift your right foot off the floor. So the shin is parallel to the floor. Your knee is like at a 90-degree angle. Press the left heel down. You could bend the elbows and like robot your arms. That might help support this shape. Press down with the left heel and just lift your pelvis and then bring it back down to the floor and then lift it again. So don't do anything with your knee. Your right knee just hangs out there at its 90-degree angle. It's your left booty that is doing the work and your left hamstring. So we're just lifting and lowering, and perhaps the pelvis does not actually rest on the floor. Maybe you just keep this like isometric hold as you lift and lower without letting the left glute relax. Okay. We can just do this. You can put this part on repeat or you can switch legs. Left left knee is at a 90-degree angle. Press down with the right foot and lift your pelvis and bring it back down. And it can be your own rhythm. You could let the pelvis really rest on the floor in between repetitions, or you could keep it hovering. And notice if you liked one side better. Just information. Now let the legs sway side to side. And bring your feet wider than your hips. And let the knees come toward each other. If you like a good old-fashioned bridge pose, half wheel could feel really nice as an opening for the front of your thighs. So bend your knees, or knees are bent, feet are under the knees. Lift your hips up. And you could snuggle the shoulders toward each other, so the upper arm bones come a little bit under the body. Instead of clasping the hands, maybe you just try pressing the hands down and feeling the strength of your upper back, even without needing to clasp the hands. Just like nice to do different things sometimes. So palms press down. Feel how the outer hips are lifting you up. Feel how the very tops of your hamstrings, right where your glute and your hamstrings meet, are lifting. You could even touch them, like bring your middle fingers to that space where the glute and the hamstrings meet, and feel how that is lifting you up here. And then bring yourself back down. Feet wide, knees together. And if it feels nice, it might, honestly, to sway the knees back and forth as you get some internal and external rotation in the hip. All right, you can do a full wheel. We have not done tons of shoulder opening. So I would recommend instead, like either returning to half wheel or putting a block underneath your sacrum. You could even extend the legs long and feel this really big opening in the front of the body. So when we're in sitting positions all day, we have this like crease that we get, our front bodies don't get to really stretch out. So we're trying to strengthen the back body, open up the front body. And you could stay with the block underneath your sacrum, legs long, for ever and ever. I will invite you at some point to remove the block and just wrap the right leg over the left. A little eagle wrap of the legs. Have your knees come over to the left side. Reach your right arm way out to the right and feel how the chest opens up. And this eagle wrapping of the right leg over the left is probably giving your gluteus medius on your right side a nice stretch too. And I want to invite you in this, as your body is connecting to earth, to conjure up something that makes you feel strong. As you breathe in, could you breathe in some of that energy from the earth, bolstering you, emboldening you? And then a long breath out. Switch legs. So feet underneath the knees, left thigh eagle wraps over. Let the knees knock over to the right. Then reach your left arm out to the left. Your chin can follow your left fingers. And I invite you to think of something else that you can do to remind yourself of your strength. Especially when you're feeling intransigent and inflexible, stuck. Sometimes we become more open-minded. We're able to challenge our mental models of the world more when we're feeling emboldened and strong than when we're feeling defensive and weak. So breathe in and a long breath out. The next thing I'll ask is that you just, on your back, take whatever form of a forward fold feels right for you. So it could be a happy baby, bringing your knees toward your armpits, holding onto your feet. Could be a plow pose, but something that allows you to stay on your back, but creates a little bit of that sense of the fetal position that we get in forward folds. It doesn't even have to be a special yoga shape that has a name to it. And then as you're ready, lengthen your legs out. Palms will face up. Take a big breath and fill your body with energy. Feel the corners of your lungs expand, and then longer exhale out as you come into Shavasana. You can stay here as long as you like. But if you're ready, you can take a big, nourishing breath in, and then a long, cleansing sigh out. On your next breath in, you can reach your arms above your head and find the floor behind you. You can extend the balls of your feet away from your head, and the fingers reach away from your feet. Take a big stretch and wake up your fingers and toes, and then a big exhale to release. Roll onto your right side. And you can stay there as long as you want. You could try some Ardha Chandrasana leg lifts, or you can come up to sit. Let's try that. The palms rubbing together just to remind us of our own strength, this like fire that we can generate. Bring your palms to your chest and feel the warmth that you can make, that you can generate. And hands to prayer. Take a big breath in. Prayer to your third eye. The light in me, all that makes me strong, sees your light and sees your strength. Namaste. Thank you, yogis. Thank you for being strong with me, for engaging your outer hips. If they're sore tomorrow, just remember to thank them for all the work that they did. And keep trying new things to make you feel strong.